it's completely reasonable to say that, we're a year and change in on the war in Ukraine or whatever, and all this stuff that we said we weren't going to send, all of these things that the government said they weren't going to be doing, they keep coming back and saying, okay, well, now we're going to. So there's no actual line that the U.S. won't cross, or at least that we as a population can reliably say, okay, we believe the government won't do this. The government has demonstrated over and over that they'll say one thing, and as soon as it comes time to be what they deem a necessity, they say we need to go ahead and do this for this reason. It's completely expected or should be expected that if the U.S. has said, no, we're not going to do this, if the conditions on the ground demand it, or an argument can be made that the conditions on the ground demand it, they're going to do it. And I think that is up to and including a nuclear exchange with Russia. If it gets to that point. Now, I'm not saying that it will, but if you put Americans on the ground in Ukraine, I could see that happening. And I don't see the off-ramp for this to get us out of eventually sending people to fight in Ukraine.
This is why I bring this up. This is the tit for tat. We say, oh, no cluster bombs. You can't do that. Then we do cluster bombs. They start producing an international gold-backed currency. We have this here. Take a look at this. Willem Middlecoop says 41 countries have applied for BRICS membership. This is massive. This is what is this, like just about a third of the world?
Yeah, and I mean,
not in
many in our government.
Population,
but
maybe with China.
To many in government, I mean, these are fighting words, saying that we are going to use a currency that is not controlled by the United States of America. Something that's very frightening for those in the ruling elite to hear. And to be frank, those are frightening words for your average person, too, if they really consider them. Because if we do lose our status as world reserve currency, the quality of life is going to diminish for basically everybody in this country. Now, you got to imagine the position that foreign leaders are in and foreign nations are in. They see how we have absolutely abused our status as world reserve currency and the fact that people need to trade in our dollar and are compelled to by the way the market functions currently. In 2020, when COVID-19 crippled our economy, or at the very least, I should say, when the lockdowns and the overreaction to COVID-19 crippled our economy, what our government did is they responded by engaging in the most gigantic transfer of wealth that has ever occurred in all of human history, and they gave virtually all of the money to the wealthiest people in this nation and devalued the currency of everyone who had savings in order to engage in that transfer of wealth. Now, anyone who was paying attention at that time said, this is going to massively harm those in the lower classes. This is massively going to harm people who have saved. And this is also going to harm people who own small businesses, because the SBA was expected to handle something like 10 times its yearly budget over the course of a month or 2 weeks in order to get this bailout money to small businesses. Now, the giant businesses that got, $4.2 trillion in low interest loans, were able to leverage that to purchase up a lot of those smaller businesses after they closed down. And it was done with your currency being devalued. Now, poor and working class people don't have a whole lot of recourse for that. But you know who does have a lot of recourse for that? Rich people in other nations who are holding U.S. currency who didn't get that payout, as well as oligarchs and rulers of other countries that have stashed U.S. dollars because they had some faith that the United States dollar was going to carry its value over into the future. And many of them are saying, you know what? We're probably going to use our clout to punish the American dollar and punish people who are in control of it by pulling out and signing on to some new currency.